Hi. A little less bright light on the subject here so we can enjoy the rainbows as they come and go. Okay, so I've had my barefoot coffee and my sun gazing. So let's go for 2 days in a row, journaling into the webcam instead of into the word processor. I'm clueless about what's coming forth here, but then very, very seldom do I have any inkling before I write, before I share. Who knows? Maybe there's nothing to be said this day. Sometimes I have to wait. I have to pause, go within. Maybe there's been too much of teaching of late. I don't know. Like all light beings, I just desire to be of service. Understanding can be there or not, because that really doesn't matter. That doesn't impede the service or help it, you know? And I'm sure what understanding needs to be present is present. We're multidimensional, and it's very comforting as we expand out into that, because we have the faith that on some level of being, we know things. And there's just that sense that all is well. On some level, this knowledge exists, and to the extent that it needs to be brought forth, it will. But it's not about knowledge. That's where we got trapped. That's where we got lost. And so many of us, it reminds me of an ant colony. So many of us running around the earth in the mind, busy, 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 doing, doing, doing. You know, way out in front of ourselves with our plans, our expectations, and all of that. Nose to the grindstone, the whole thing. And trapped in the mind. That's the part that's bothersome, that trapped in the mind part. I listen to when I need comforting. You know, you give, and then you need to take. There needs to be a balance in the flow. And so, as well as giving out and sharing, I need to take in. And so I listen to different ones, as you know. And I found among the many hundreds, maybe thousands of short YouTube recordings of Mooji that are out there, I found one that was particularly adept at bringing someone so deeply into the who am I that you step into the nothingness. And it was beautifully done. Mooji's a heart being. I would call him that. I doubt he would call himself that. But he's not in the head. And he's ever so much in the present moment. And that's powerful. We all have that ability and that presence. We just have to focus into it. So anyway, there was this young woman, middle-aged, I don't know, there was a woman in the audience who thought that all this talk about Advaita and the nothingness and the emptiness and the being and who am I, she thought it was just talk, you know, and it sounded nice, but there wasn't really anything to it. And so she challenged him that way. And there's, I think, a 7-minute clip followed by a 6-minute clip. In that amount of time, he took her into the emptiness that you find when you're looking for the self and when you're deeply inquiring. It was beautifully done. Okay, now I've mentioned this before, but here's what's different. I shared this with my friend, whom I call Lady X. Now, she and I walk different pathways. We're really quite different, and yet deep, deep, cherished friends of the heart. And so we're all the time making allowances for one another's differences and different perspectives and understandings. And it's a very healthy, beneficial relationship that goes both ways. We're both teacher and student of one another. And I told her about this video that was available if she would be interested. I didn't know if that was something that would call to her heart. And she said, sure, you know, lay it on me. So I gave her the link. And when we got back together, I realized she'd watched it in head. And I was, I guess I was a little bit stunned. I was surprised. But I think that's symptomatic of everyone to a certain extent. That's why we can listen to the masters down through the centuries and even the millennia and not really hear them because we're in head. So what I'll do is I'll put a link with the text that goes, the quote-unquote transcript that goes with this video to that Mooji piece. And I'll invite you to do the same thing, to go into heart. I don't know if you have any familiarity at all with Advaita. I don't study the philosophy of things or anything like that. I don't know much about it. I think it's supposed to mean like non-dualism, but I don't know. I don't care. It's the heart of it that touches me and that I participate in, I bask in. And I will say that Adyashanti, Mooji, and Gangaji, and Papaji, and Ramana Maharshi, these are all teachers of Advaita, as far as I know. But what does that matter? I mean, you know, that's a mental structure where people have tried to define things. They're teachers of heart to me, and that's what works. So it's my hope that by spending time with me here with these videos, you'll ride the wave of, I don't even want to say you'll ride the wave of the energy and the frequency that flows through this physicality, this body, mind, being, and you'll be supported and uplifted, assisted into heart. When we're in the presence of the flow, of someone in flow, it doesn't matter who, it can be a 3-year-old. When we're in the presence of flow, life is easier for us. Good stuff is easier. It's easier to connect with the higher part of self because that's what we're looking at and that's what we're seeing in that one before us. And so I'm really grateful to participate in this kind of thing. I mean, it's such an honor and such an amazement too. But my friends waking up out there, you're all teachers. You're all guides. You're all, you have your gifts to share and to give, the higher self to find and connect with, so that you too can let your own particular flow go through you and participate and be danced in that, and let all the butterflies and the bees and all come to the beautiful scent that you cast off into the air by your joy. I wish you joy this day, great joy of being. God bless.